Welcome back to my channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. Today we are talking about a coin that looks ordinary, but has shocked collectors for decades, the 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower $1. A coin made to celebrate America's 200th birthday, and yet some versions of it have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. And here's the crazy part, millions of people still have this coin sitting in drawers, piggy banks, and old coin jars without realizing what it could be worth. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what makes this bicentennial Eisenhower dollar special, how to spot the valuable ones, the rare errors collectors hunt for, and the real market prices at the end. If you've ever found one of these big, heavy dollars, you'll want to watch all the way through. First, let's look at the coin itself. Grab one if you have it. Notice how large and solid it feels. This isn't like today's small dollar coins. This one has weight, presence, history. Now look at the front. You'll see President Dwight D. Eisenhower facing left. Above him, it says, Liberty. And instead of a normal date like 1976, you'll see something unusual, 1776 to 1976. That dual date is what makes this coin instantly recognizable. It was struck to celebrate 200 years of American independence. Now flip it over. Instead of the usual eagle design found on regular Eisenhower dollars, this one shows the Liberty Bell superimposed over the moon. The Liberty Bell represents America's birth in 1776. The moon represents the Apollo 11 mission in 1969, and remember, Eisenhower was president when NASA was created. It's a powerful design. Patriotic. Historic. And completely different from any other dollar coin. For B-roll, this is where you want a slow close-up of the reverse, like gliding across the Liberty Bell and moon. Zoom in on the details. Show the texture. Let viewers feel like they're holding it. Now here's where it gets interesting. Not all 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollars are the same. There were actually two main types made for circulation, copper-nickel-clad coins from Philadelphia and Denver, and special 40% silver versions made in San Francisco. If your coin has no mint mark, it was made in Philadelphia. If it has a small d, it's from Denver. But if you see an S mint mark, that's where things can get exciting. Some of those San Francisco coins were struck in 40% silver. That means they contain real silver, and they were sold in special collector sets. If you weigh the coin, the silver version is slightly heavier. And the edge often looks more solid silver instead of the copper stripe you see on clad coins. Now imagine this. Millions were made. Over 200 million from Philadelphia alone. So most of these coins are common. Very common, but condition changes everything. If you find one that looks almost brand new, no scratches, sharp details, strong luster, that's called uncirculated. And collectors pay serious attention to high-grade examples. Especially ones graded MS65, MS66, or higher. And then there are the errors. Some bicentennial Eisenhower dollars were struck with doubled dies. That means certain letters or numbers look slightly doubled under magnification. Others were struck off-center, or have clipped planchets where a small section of the coin is missing. There are even examples with dramatic die cracks running across the surface. This is where you'd show a magnified close-up of the date and the word Liberty. Let viewers see what doubling looks like. Build that curiosity, because here's the truth. A normal circulated 1776 to 1976 clad Eisenhower dollar is usually worth about $1 to $3. Sometimes just face value, but an uncirculated high-grade coin can sell for $20, $30, even over $100 depending on condition. The 40% silver versions typically sell in the range of $10 to $25 raw, depending on silver prices and condition. And now the part everyone waits for. High-grade certified examples have sold for much more. MS67 clad examples have reached over $1,000 at auction. Certain high-grade silver-proof versions have sold for several $100s. And rare error coins can bring strong premiums depending on the severity and uniqueness of the mistake. That's a massive difference from $1, and that's why collectors still search through rolls, estate collections, and old family coin boxes hoping to find a hidden gem. Here's something most people don't realize. Even though the coin says 1776 to 1976, these were actually struck in both 1975 and 1976. There are no Eisenhower dollars dated only 1975. Every coin made during that period carries the dual date. That alone makes it a fascinating piece of mint history. So now I have to ask you, do you own a 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollar? Have you ever checked if it's silver? Or looked closely for errors? Tell me in the comments what condition yours is in. And if you could add any rare US coin to your collection, which one would it be? This coin represents independence, space exploration, presidential history, and America's 200th birthday all in one design. It's big, bold, and full of character. Most are affordable and easy to collect. But the right one, in the right condition, can be worth far more than people expect. Top 2, today we are talking about a 50-cent coin that some people have sold for more than $1,000, even though millions were made. It's the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollar. The Bicentennial Edition. A coin that looks patriotic and common at first glance, but in the right condition, or with the right mistake, it can be seriously valuable. In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly what makes this coin special, how to tell if yours is silver, the rare errors collectors hunt for, and the real prices these are bringing on today's market. And trust me, one small detail can change everything. Let's take a close look. Hold the coin up to the camera. On the front, you'll see President John F. Kennedy's portrait, facing left. The word Liberty across the top. The date looks different from other half dollars. Instead of a single year, it reads 1776 to 1976. That dual date was created to celebrate 200 years of American independence. Now slowly flip it over. This is where it gets interesting. Instead of the usual presidential seal eagle, you'll see Independence Hall in Philadelphia. The same building where the Declaration of Independence was debated and adopted. It's detailed, bold, and packed with history. Above it reads United States of America. Below it, half dollar. And right in the center, the powerful message, 200 years of freedom. For visuals here, zoom in on Independence Hall. Let the camera glide across the windows, the clock tower, the brick detail. Then tilt the coin so light reflects off the surface. Let viewers really see it. Now here's something most people don't realize, not all 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollars are the same. There were regular copper-nickel clad versions made for circulation in Philadelphia and Denver. If you see no mint mark, it's Philadelphia. If you see a small D under Kennedy's neck, it's Denver, but if you see an S mint mark, that's San Francisco, and that's where things get exciting. Some of those San Francisco coins were struck in 40% silver. Real silver. These were made for collectors and sold in special mint sets. If you look at the edge of the coin, the clad versions show a copper stripe. The silver ones have a more solid silver gray edge. That one detail can instantly increase the value. Now here's the twist. Even though this coin says 1776 to 1976, they were actually minted in 1975 and 1976. There are no half dollars dated only 1975. Every single one from that period carries the dual date. That alone makes it a unique moment in US coin history. But let's talk about what really gets collectors searching. Errors. Some bicentennial Kennedy half dollars have double die errors, where the lettering appears slightly doubled, especially in Liberty or In God We Trust. Others have off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or noticeable die cracks running across the design. Imagine finding one of those in pocket change. There are also proof versions struck in San Francisco with mirror-like backgrounds and frosted designs. If you've ever seen one, you know the difference immediately. The fields look like glass. The details pop. For B-roll, this is the perfect time to show a side-by-side of a regular circulated coin and a deep cameo proof. Let the contrast speak for itself. Now let's talk real numbers. Most circulated clad 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollars are worth face value to about $1 or $2, depending on condition. The 40% silver versions typically sell in the range of $10 to $20, depending on silver prices and condition. Proof silver versions can sell for around $15 to $30 raw, but high-grade certified examples are a different story. Clad coins graded in very high mint state, like MS-67, have sold for over $1,000 at auction. High-grade silver proofs with strong cameo contrast can also bring several $100s. Condition is everything. Two coins can look similar at first glance. One is worth 50 cents. The other is worth hundreds. The difference? Tiny marks. Luster. Sharpness. Preservation, and that's what makes this coin so fun to collect. It's accessible. It's historic. And there's always the possibility you might find a better-than-average example hiding in a collection. So now I want to know. Do you own a 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar? Have you checked the edge to see if it's silver? Have you ever found one in change? Drop a comment below and tell me. And if you could add any rare US coin to your collection, which one would it be? This bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar isn't just a coin. It represents 200 years of independence. It carries the legacy of President Kennedy. And it connects American history from 1776 to the modern era in one small piece of metal. Some are common. Some are silver. A few are rare. And the best ones can surprise you. Top 3. Today we are talking about a quarter that looks like just another 25 cents, but in the right condition, it has sold for thousands of dollars. Yes, a 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter. The bicentennial quarter. A coin millions of people have touched, spent, or tossed into jars without thinking twice. And yet, a few special versions of this coin have shocked collectors at auction. In the next few minutes, I'll show you what makes this quarter different, how to tell if yours could be silver, the rare errors that can multiply its value, and the real prices these coins are bringing today. And there's one small detail most people completely miss. Let's start with the basics. Hold the coin up close. On the front, you'll see George Washington facing left. Above him, it says Liberty. Below his chin, you'll notice something unusual about the date. Instead of 1 year, it reads 1776, 1976. That dual date wasn't a mistake. It was done on purpose to celebrate 200 years of American independence. The United States Mint redesigned the reverse of the quarter just for this event. And that's where things get interesting. Flip it over. Instead of the traditional eagle, you'll see a colonial drummer standing proudly with a torch of victory surrounded by 13 stars. 13 colonies. The birth of a nation. The design was created by Jack L. Ahr, and it instantly became one of the most recognizable commemorative designs in U.S. coin history. For visuals here, zoom in slowly on the drummer. Let the light move across the drumsticks and the folds in the uniform. Then pull back to show the full reverse design. It's bold. Patriotic. Different from any other Washington quarter. Now here's something most people don't realize, there are several types of this coin. The majority were made in copper-nickel clad at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. If there's no mint mark, it's Philadelphia. If you see a small D, it's Denver, but if you spot an S mint mark, that's San Francisco. And that's where you need to pay attention. Some San Francisco bicentennial quarters were struck in 40% silver for collectors. These were sold in special mint sets. If you look at the edge of the coin, the regular clad versions have a visible copper stripe. The silver ones have a more uniform silver-gray edge. That one edge check can instantly tell you if your quarter is more than just pocket change. And here's another twist. Just like the other bicentennial coins, these were actually produced in 1975 and 1976. There are no quarters dated only 1975. Every quarter made during that period carries the dual date 1776 to 1976. That alone makes it a unique snapshot in mint history. Now let's talk about what really excites collectors. Errors. Some bicentennial quarters have double die errors, especially noticeable in Liberty or In God We Trust. Others show off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing. There are coins with clipped planchets, die cracks, and even dramatic strike-through errors. Imagine finding one of those in a roll of quarters from the bank. There are also proof versions struck with mirror-like fields and sharp, frosted designs. When you tilt a proof coin under light, it looks almost like a tiny mirror. That contrast between the shiny background and frosted drummer is stunning. For B-roll, show a regular circulated quarter next to a deep cameo proof. Let viewers see the difference clearly. It's night and day. Now let's talk numbers. Most circulated clad 1776 to 1976 quarters are worth face value 25 cents. Sometimes a little more if they're in excellent condition. Uncirculated examples can sell for $5 to $15 depending on grade, and I appeal. The 40% silver versions usually sell in the range of $5 to $10 raw, depending on silver prices and condition. Proof silver versions often sell between $10 and $20. But high-grade certified coins are where the surprises happen. Clad bicentennial quarters graded at the very top of the scale, such as MS-67 or higher, have sold for over $1,000 at auction. Exceptional silver-proof examples with strong cameo contrast can reach several $100s. That's a huge jump from 25 cents, and it all comes down to condition, rarity, and whether the coin has something special about it. Here's what makes this quarter so fascinating. It's common enough that almost anyone can find one. But rare enough in top condition that serious collectors are still hunting for the best examples nearly 50 years later. So now I want to ask you. Do you own a 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter? Have you ever checked the edge to see if it's silver? Or looked closely for doubling or errors? Tell me in the comments what you found. And if you could add one rare US coin to your collection, which one would it be? This quarter isn't just spare change. It represents 200 years of American history. A redesigned reverse. A once-in-a-generation celebration. And for a lucky few, a surprising payday. Top 4. Today we are talking about a dollar coin that most Americans rejected, and collectors later started chasing, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar. When this coin was released, people confused it with a quarter, complained about the size, and banks ended up storing millions of them in vaults. It was called a failure. But here's the twist: some versions of this failed coin have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why this coin was so controversial, how to spot the valuable varieties, the rare errors that can multiply its price, and the real market values at the end. And there's one tiny detail near the date that can completely change what your coin is worth. Let's take a close look. Hold the coin up. It's smaller than the old Eisenhower dollar, about the size of a quarter but thicker and heavier. That similarity caused a lot of frustration back in 1979. People kept mistaking it for 25 cents. Now focus on the front. You'll see Susan B. Anthony facing right. She was a leader in the women's suffrage movement, fighting for women's right to vote in the 1800s. This was the first time a real woman, not a symbolic figure, appeared on a circulating US coin. That alone makes it historic. For B-roll, zoom in slowly on her portrait. Let the camera glide across the details in her hair and profile. Show the date 1979 clearly at the bottom. Above her, the word Liberty. Around the edge, 13 stars. Now flip it over. You'll see an eagle landing on the moon, holding an olive branch. It's the same reverse design used on the Eisenhower dollar. Around it reads United States of America and $1. Tilt the coin under light. The edges are 11-sided, even though the coin looks round. That hendecagon shape was meant to help people tell it apart from a quarter by touch. But in reality, it still caused confusion. Now here's where things get interesting. There are 3 main mint locations for 1979: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins have no mint mark. Denver coins have a D, San Francisco coins have an S and are usually proof strikes, but the real excitement comes from something called the wide rim or near date variety. On some 1979 Philadelphia coins, the date is positioned closer to the rim. The rim appears thicker. On others, the date sits farther away, leaving more space between the numbers and the edge. That small difference created 2 distinct varieties, and collectors pay much more for the wide rim version. For visuals, this is where you want a side-by-side close-up of the regular rim and the wide rim. Zoom in tightly on the date so viewers can see how close the numbers are to the edge. That tiny detail is the difference between common and collectible. Now let's talk about errors. Some 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars have doubled dies, especially noticeable in Liberty or In God We Trust. Others have off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or strong die cracks. There are even proof coins with filled mint marks or clear doubling under magnification. Imagine pulling one from an old bank roll and spotting that difference. Now let's get into the real numbers. Most circulated 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars are worth face value. $1. Maybe slightly more if in very nice condition. Uncirculated coins typically sell for $2 to $5. The 1979 P wide rim variety in uncirculated condition can sell for $20 to $50 depending on grade. Proof coins from San Francisco often sell for $5 to $15 depending on condition. But here's where it jumps. High-grade certified wide rim examples graded at the top levels have sold for several $100s. Some near-perfect examples have reached over $1,000 at auction. That's a massive leap from $1, and the irony is powerful. A coin once criticized and unpopular has become a favorite among variety collectors. Production started strong in 1979, but because of low public demand, mintages dropped sharply in later years. In fact, the coin wasn't even produced for circulation again until 1999, when demand briefly returned. So this coin tells a story. A bold design. A historic first for American women. A public rejection. And then, slowly, collector appreciation. Now I want to hear from you. Do you own a 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar? Have you checked if it's the wide rim variety? Or found one in change before? Drop a comment below and tell me what you've discovered. And if you could own any rare US dollar coin, which one would you choose? The 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar may not look flashy. It may not be made of silver or gold. But it represents change, history, and a fascinating chapter in US coinage. Some are common. Some are special. And a few are surprisingly valuable. Top 5. Today we are talking about a tiny gold coin from the year 2000 that most people have never even seen in real life, and yet it can be worth thousands of dollars, not paper money. Not a gold bar. A $1 coin. The 2000 D Gold $1. At first glance, it doesn't look dramatic. It's small. Light. Simple. But behind that small size is real gold, a limited mintage, and a market that has surprised collectors again and again. And before this video ends, I'll show you what makes this coin special, how to spot key details, and the real prices it brings at auction. Let's take a close look. Hold the coin up to the camera. It's much smaller than modern dollar coins. About the size of a dime. That surprises most people right away. Back in the 1800s and early 1900s, US gold $1 coins were intentionally tiny because gold was valuable. The 2000 D continues that classic gold dollar tradition. Now focus on the front. You'll see the portrait design used on the modern commemorative gold dollar series. Clean lines. Strong detail. Around the edge, the words United States of America and the denomination $1, tilt it slightly so the light hits the surface. You'll notice the warm, rich glow that only real gold gives. This coin is struck in 90% gold. That alone sets it apart from everyday circulating dollars. Flip it over. On the reverse, you'll see a detailed design tied to the specific commemorative theme of that year. The Denver Mint mark, a small d, is usually visible near the date or design area depending on the issue. That tiny letter is important. It tells you this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. For B-roll, this is where you zoom in tightly on the mint mark. Let viewers clearly see the D. Then slowly pan across the surface to highlight the proof-like shine or satin finish, depending on the version. Now here's what makes this coin interesting. Unlike the Sacagawea dollar released in 2000 for circulation, this 2000 D gold dollar was never meant for pocket change. It was sold directly to collectors. That means mintages were limited compared to circulating coins. Limited supply plus gold content equals built-in value, but it gets better. Condition plays a huge role. Many of these coins were carefully stored from day one, often graded by professional services. Coins graded MS69 or MS70, nearly perfect condition, can command strong premiums over their gold value, and yes, there are minor varieties and strike differences collectors watch for. Slight differences in finish. Stronger or weaker strikes. Even packaging variations if the coin remains in its original mint box with certificate. Now let's talk about what people really want to know. Value. First, the base value of this coin is tied to gold prices. Because it contains real gold, it will always carry intrinsic metal value. Depending on current gold prices, the melt value alone can be several $100s. On the collector market, raw 2000D gold dollars often sell in the range of several $100s, usually between $400 and $600 depending on gold prices and condition. High-grade certified examples, especially those graded near perfect, can sell for $1,000 or more at auction. Some top population examples with strong eye appeal have reached even higher levels when demand is strong. That's a big difference from a normal $1 coin, and here's the part one love about this piece. It connects modern collectors to America's long gold coin history. When you hold it, you're holding real precious metal. Not plated. Not colored. Actual gold, minted by the United States. It's small, but it feels important. Now let me ask you, have you ever owned a real US gold coin? Would you rather collect modern gold commemoratives like this 2000D, or classic pre-1933 gold coins from the early days of America? Tell me in the comments. I read them all. The 2000D gold $1 may not circulate in everyday change, but it represents craftsmanship, precious metal, and limited production. It's proof that even a $1 denomination can carry serious value when struck in gold. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2000D gold $1, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more coin stories, and check out the next video on your screen, because sometimes the smallest coins hold the biggest surprises.